Have you ever wondered why, as you hit your 60s or 70s, your body doesn't feel the way it used to? Those joint pains, the stiffness, and the nagging fatigue that follows you throughout the day. You're not alone. I've been there too. It seems like the simple tasks that were once a breeze now feel like monumental efforts. But what if I told you that this doesn't have to be your reality? What if I told you that despite aging, you could feel better, more energized, and in control of your health than you ever thought possible? This isn't about turning back the clock. This is about making smarter, more informed choices every single day. The promise. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and I'll show you 5 daily habits that might be secretly making things harder for you as you age. These are small, everyday actions that we often overlook, but they might be causing unnecessary pain, fatigue, and even accelerating the aging process. I know it sounds daunting, but don't worry. I've got solutions for you. I'm going to share simple, easy-to-implement changes that will help you feel better, reduce pain, and give you back the energy you deserve. You can start applying these right away, and you'll start noticing a difference. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools you need to live a more comfortable, vibrant life. Emotional imagery. Imagine waking up in the morning without that stiff back, the one that seems to take an hour to stretch out. Picture getting through your day without that persistent ache in your knees or the exhaustion after doing just a few tasks around the house. It's possible, and it starts with understanding that the real problem isn't just getting older, but rather the habits that we unknowingly cling to. For example, how often do we push through physical discomfort just to get the house cleaned or the laundry done? We think we're being productive, but in reality, we may be causing harm by not adjusting our routines to fit the changes in our bodies. The truth is, you don't need to break your back to keep things running smoothly. Setting the stage. As we age, our bodies change. That's just a fact of life. But these changes don't have to lead to constant discomfort or fatigue. Too often, we feel like we have no choice but to keep pushing through, ignoring the signals our bodies send. Maybe you've been told it's just a part of aging, or that you need to suck it up and push through. But what if that's not the right approach? What if, instead, you could start listening to your body, making small adjustments that actually make a world of difference? This is about working smarter, not harder. The problem. Let's talk about the problem many seniors face: chronic pain. Whether it's arthritis, back pain, or just the wear and tear of years of hard work, it's something most of us experience. But pain doesn't have to be your constant companion. A lot of the time, it's not just the aging process that causes discomfort. It's the daily habits that we don't even realize are contributing to our pain. You might be bending down too much, lifting too often, or pushing your body to do things it can't handle anymore. Over time, these seemingly small things add up. The result? You end up feeling tired, achy, and more frustrated with each passing day. The truth about our daily habits. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself doing things the hard way out of habit? Maybe you're washing dishes the same way you always have, scrubbing pots and pans for what seems like hours. Maybe you're bending down to pick things up over and over, causing strain on your knees and back. Perhaps you're trying to clean the entire house in one go, only to feel wiped out afterward. It's these kinds of everyday routines that often set us up for failure. Sure, you might feel like you're being productive, but in reality, you're making your body work harder than it needs to. And this is where the changes come in. The approach. Instead of doing things the old way, let's try something different. Instead of battling through the pain, what if you could make simple adjustments to your routine? What if you could still get your home clean, your laundry done, and your daily tasks completed, but without the aches, pains, and exhaustion. It's not just about avoiding the work, but about finding smarter ways to do it. Small changes like using smaller cleaning bottles, rinsing dishes immediately, or breaking up big tasks into smaller chunks can make all the difference. A fresh perspective. As you watch this video, I want you to keep an open mind. Some of these ideas might seem simple or even obvious, but trust me, they work. And I know that sometimes the simplest changes can have the most profound impact on your health and well-being. I've seen it in so many seniors I've worked with, and I've experienced it myself. You don't need to force yourself to be superhuman anymore. The key to a happy, healthy life after 60 isn't about pushing through. It's about working with your body, not against it. The reality check. Now, I know you might be thinking, but I've been doing things this way for years. I get it. I'm not saying you need to overhaul your entire life, but making these small adjustments can add up to big results over time. Just like you've learned to adapt to other changes in your life, it's time to adapt how you approach your health and your daily routine. And trust me, it's not as hard as you think. Wrapping up the intro. With all that said, let's jump into these 5 essential habits that could be secretly making your aging process harder than it needs to be. These simple, easy-to-implement tips are designed specifically for seniors, people with limited mobility, and those who want to age gracefully. So, grab a pen and paper, because by the end of this video, you'll have actionable steps you can take today to feel better tomorrow. You might be thinking, but I've been doing things this way for years. It's how I've always kept my home in order. Trust me, I understand. I've had moments where I felt like I was fighting my own body just to keep up with everything. You're not alone in this. Whether it's washing the dishes, cleaning the bathroom, or keeping up with laundry, I've been through it all. For a long time, I didn't even realize that the way I was doing things was actually making me more tired, more sore, and more frustrated. But once I took a step back and rethought my approach, everything changed. The dangers of pushing through. As we get older, we tend to push ourselves harder than we should, thinking that we're just being responsible or productive. You might have grown up with the mindset that hard work equals success, but now that same work ethic is starting to wear you down. Think about how many times you've tried to clean your entire house in one go. Or how often you've ignored that nagging pain in your knees when you bend down to pick something up, only to regret it later. All of that adds up. It's not about being lazy, it's about working smarter. And that's the big realization, why it's not your fault. The problem is not you, it's the habits we've been conditioned to follow. We've all been taught that cleaning and working hard is part of life. But the truth is, some of these good habits are actually hurting us. The problem with most cleaning routines is that they demand too much physical effort, especially for seniors. If you're like many people over 60, your body doesn't bounce back the way it used to, and doing chores the same way you did when you were younger might be causing more harm than good. Let's talk about joint pain and overworking your body. Joint pain is one of the most common complaints among people as they age. Arthritis, back pain, hip pain, they're all connected to the way we move, bend, and lift. But have you ever stopped to think about how those everyday tasks you do without thinking, like bending down to pick up clothes or scrubbing a bathroom floor, are actually putting strain on your body? When you keep repeating these actions over and over, your joints and muscles start to wear down faster. And here's the thing, it's not your fault. We weren't given the tools to learn how to adapt to our bodies as they age. Most of us just keep doing things the same way, thinking that's what we have to do to keep things in order. But it doesn't have to be this way. Real-life examples of unseen strain. I remember hearing the story of a woman named Helen, who's 78 and lives on her own. She used to spend hours cleaning her house, bending down and scrubbing floors, lifting heavy buckets of water, and just pushing through the pain. She believed that if she didn't keep her house spotless, it would reflect poorly on her. But eventually, the pain in her knees and back got so bad, she couldn't even walk around the house without wincing. Her doctor told her that she needed to stop overexerting herself. But it was only then that Helen realized her cleaning routine was actually making her physical condition worse. Recognizing the problem. Repetition is key. This is a pattern that so many seniors fall into, doing the same thing over and over without realizing the damage it's causing. One small action might not seem like a big deal at the time, but when it's repeated over weeks, months, and years, it adds up. Every time you bend down to pick something up or clean an area that requires physical effort, you're placing strain on your joints and muscles. When your body is already dealing with the natural aging process, all of these repetitive motions can lead to inflammation, pain, and even injury. The hidden impact of cleaning the old way. Let's break it down a bit more. For example, when you scrub floors or bend to clean counters, your body's natural reaction is to tense up. If you're using your muscles in awkward ways or for long periods of time, you're putting unnecessary stress on your joints. Over time, that repeated stress can cause your muscles to fatigue faster and your joints to become inflamed. It might not happen overnight, but you'll start to feel it in the long run. The strain begins to affect your everyday life, and you might notice that you're not as agile or as flexible as you used to be. A new way of thinking about cleaning. Here's where the solution lies. It's not about avoiding the work. It's about being more mindful of how you're doing it. Small adjustments in your routine can make all the difference. Think about how many times you've bent down to pick up a piece of paper or a sock. Now you imagine if you used a grabber tool or placed things at waist height so that you didn't have to bend over so much. It's the little things that can save your joints and muscles. The goal isn't to do less work. It's to do the work in a way that doesn't wear you out or hurt your body. The real key is to simplify your routine so that you're not working against your body. Embracing simplicity and efficiency. Remember, you don't need to be superhuman. This is about taking smart, simple actions that respect your body and your time. For instance, instead of scrubbing every inch of your bathroom all at once, break it down into smaller tasks. One day, clean the sink. The next, wipe down the mirrors. And before you know it, your bathroom will be spotless without the back-breaking work. It's all about making things easier, not harder. Rethinking the one-day cleaning marathon. Many people, especially those who've been cleaning their entire lives, have a mindset that they must clean everything in one go. They think, I can't relax until it's all done. But this mentality can lead to exhaustion and frustration, especially as you age. Cleaning doesn't need to be a marathon. It's much more sustainable to break it into smaller, more manageable chunks. You'll still get the same results, but without the physical toll. This approach is about smart work, not hard work. Now that we've talked about how small, unnoticed habits can actually be making your aging process harder, let's dive into the solutions. The good news, they're not complicated. In fact, they're quite simple, and they all revolve around the same concept, working smarter, not harder. These tips are all about minimizing the strain on your body while still keeping your home clean, your life organized, and your well-being intact. I want to start with something so simple that you might overlook it. Rinsing your dishes right after you eat. Sounds easy, right? But trust me, it makes a huge difference. Most people let their dishes sit in the sink, letting food dry and harden. This creates extra work for you later when you try to scrub it off. Margaret, the 80-year-old widow I mentioned earlier, used to spend over 30 minutes scraping off stuck-on food after dinner. But once she started rinsing her dishes right after eating, her cleaning time was cut in half. Now she enjoys her evening tea while the dishes soak, and cleaning them later is quick and easy. Why it works? The reason this works so well is simple. When you rinse your dishes immediately after eating, the food residue doesn't have a chance to dry and stick. It's just like soaking a pot or pan after cooking. The food comes off effortlessly, saving you a lot of time and elbow grease. And if you're using a dishwasher, a quick wipe down with a damp towel before loading the dishes can prevent food from hardening, making the process even easier. One of the biggest challenges when it comes to cleaning as we get older is handling heavy cleaning bottles. If you have arthritis or joint pain, holding those large containers and squeezing stiff spray triggers can be exhausting. So here's an easy fix. Transfer your most used cleaning solutions into smaller, lighter spray bottles. These are much easier to grip, control, and carry around. For example, John, a 72-year-old retiree, used to avoid cleaning altogether because he couldn't handle the large bottles. But once he started using smaller spray bottles, he noticed an immediate difference. Now he keeps a small bottle of multi-purpose cleaner in every room, making cleaning faster and easier. Why it works? Using smaller bottles not only reduces the strain on your hands, but also helps you avoid accidental spills, which can be frustrating and dangerous. You can even use pre-moistened cleaning wipes if you prefer a quicker, no-fuss solution. The best part? You're still getting the same cleaning power, just in a more manageable form. Next up is dusting. Many of us are used to dusting with traditional feather dusters or regular cloths, but this often doesn't do the job properly. It just moves the dust around rather than trapping it. That's where microfiber cloths come in. These cloths are designed with ultra-fine fibers that actually grab and hold onto dust, dirt, and even bacteria without scattering it into the air. Real-life example. Helen, the 78-year-old woman I mentioned earlier who struggled with dusting because of her arthritis, switched to microfiber cloths. She found that it required very little pressure to pick up dust in one swipe, and she didn't have to go over the same area repeatedly. She even wraps a microfiber cloth around a broom handle to clean high places like ceiling fans and shelves without using a ladder. This made dusting much easier for her, and she's now able to keep her house cleaner with less effort. Why it works? Microfiber cloths are not only effective at trapping dust, but they're also soft enough not to scratch delicate surfaces like glass, wood, or electronics. You don't even need to use chemicals with them. Just slightly dampen the cloth and wipe away the dust. This is especially helpful for people with respiratory sensitivities or allergies, as it keeps the dust from floating back into the air. Solution number 4. Use baking soda for natural cleaning. Now, let's talk about a natural cleaning solution that has been around for decades. Baking soda. It's a budget-friendly, versatile cleaner that works wonders for seniors looking for a safe and effective way to clean their homes without relying on harsh chemicals. You can use baking soda for everything from scrubbing kitchen grease to eliminating odors in the fridge. And the best part is, it requires minimal physical effort. Real-life example. Take Grace, a 75-year-old grandmother who struggled with back pain. She started using baking soda on her kitchen counters and stove, and it made cleaning so much easier. Instead of scrubbing for hours, she simply sprinkled a little baking soda on a damp sponge, let it sit for a few minutes, and wiped away grease and stains effortlessly. She also places an open box of baking soda in her fridge to keep it smelling fresh and clean. Why it works? Baking soda is a gentle abrasive, which means it can clean tough stains without requiring heavy scrubbing. It's also safe to use on almost any surface, and it won't release harmful fumes like some store-bought cleaners. Plus, it's incredibly cheap and easy to find. Let's face it, laundry is a chore that many seniors dread because of the physical strain it causes. Constant bending, lifting, and sorting clothes can be exhausting, especially if you have back or knee problems. But here's an easy way to make laundry day much easier. Organize your laundry baskets so that you're not doing all the work at once. Real-life example. Grace, who I mentioned earlier, was also able to simplify her laundry routine. She started using a 3-basket system with separate bins for whites, colors, and delicates. This meant that she didn't have to bend over and sort clothes on laundry day. Instead, her clothes were already pre-sorted, and she could simply throw them into the washer with minimal effort. She also used a rolling laundry cart to avoid lifting heavy baskets. Why it works. By organizing your laundry ahead of time, you save energy and avoid unnecessary bending. Plus, using a rolling cart means you won't have to carry heavy baskets around. These small changes can make laundry day a lot more manageable and less physically taxing. One of the most strenuous tasks for seniors is moving laundry around. If you're like many people, carrying heavy laundry baskets can put unnecessary strain on your back, shoulders, and knees. But here's a simple solution: a folding laundry cart with wheels. This handy cart makes moving laundry from room to room effortless, without the need for lifting or carrying heavy baskets. Whether you have a large family or you live alone, this small investment can make a big difference. Real-life example. Josephine, a 78-year-old woman with arthritis in her hands, used to dread carrying laundry down the hall. But once she started using a folding laundry cart, she noticed an immediate difference. No more back pain or sore arms. Now she simply rolls her laundry to the washer and dryer, making the whole process much easier on her body. Plus, the cart is lightweight and folds up for easy storage, so it doesn't take up much space in her home. Why it works. The folding cart's wheels do all the work for you. You don't have to worry about bending down to pick up heavy baskets, and you can avoid the strain of carrying laundry across the house. For even more convenience, choose a cart with a sturdy handle and smooth rolling wheels to make transportation even easier. This small adjustment can make laundry day a breeze and save you from unnecessary physical strain. Dusting can be one of the most exhausting and repetitive tasks around the house, especially for seniors. Constant wiping can leave you feeling tired and frustrated, especially if the dust keeps coming back quickly. But what if there was a way to make dusting easier and less frequent? Using a light dusting spray can help reduce how often you need to clean and keep your surfaces dust-free for longer. Real-life example. Nancy, a 70-year-old woman with arthritis, used to dust her furniture every few days because the dust would settle quickly. But once she started using a dust-repelling spray, she noticed a significant difference. Her furniture stayed clean for up to a week, and dusting now took half the time. For even more convenience, she began using pre-treated dusting wipes, which trap dust without scattering it back into the air, making her cleaning routine even easier. Why it works. Dusting sprays work by coating the surface with a thin layer that repels dust, making it harder for dust particles to settle again. By using a dusting spray, you can reduce the frequency of cleaning sessions and make each dusting session more effective. This is a simple, low-effort way to maintain a cleaner home, especially if you're dealing with joint pain or limited mobility. One of the biggest obstacles many seniors face when it comes to cleaning is feeling overwhelmed by the task. Cleaning the entire house in one day can feel impossible, especially if fatigue or pain sets in. But here's the secret. Break the cleaning tasks into smaller chunks. Instead of dedicating hours to cleaning, focus on one small area per day. It's all about consistency, not overexertion. Real-life example. Arthur, a 79-year-old man, used to try and clean everything in one day, pushing himself to the limit. But he quickly realized that this left him feeling exhausted, with more aches and pains. Now, Arthur follows a simple routine where he spends just 10 minutes each day on a small task. Monday, he wipes down the kitchen counters. Tuesday, he vacuums the living room. Wednesday, he dusts the shelves. By the end of the week, his home is clean, and he hasn't had to overexert himself. Why it works. Breaking up cleaning tasks into manageable chunks helps prevent burnout and makes it easier to maintain a tidy home. When you give yourself permission to take your time and clean slowly, you're not putting unnecessary strain on your body. Plus, this method prevents clutter from building up, so you never feel like you have to tackle a massive cleaning session again. Taking out the trash might seem like a small task, but for seniors with mobility issues, it can be surprisingly difficult. Walking to a single large trash bin, especially if it's across the house, can be exhausting. Carrying heavy trash bags can put strain on your back, shoulders, and knees. But here's a solution. Use smaller, accessible trash bins throughout your home. Instead of relying on one big trash can, place small bins in key areas like the kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, and even near your favorite chair. Real-life example. Rose, a 78-year-old woman who lives alone, used to put off cleaning up small messes because she didn't want to walk all the way to the kitchen trash bin. But after placing small bins in every room, tidying up became quick and easy. She only needs to empty the small bins once or twice a week, reducing both the effort and strain on her body. For even more convenience, Rose switched to using biodegradable trash bags, which are easier to tie up and dispose of. Why it works. Small trash bins make it easier to dispose of waste without walking across the house. By having multiple bins, you can dispose of trash as you go, reducing the need to make multiple trips to the kitchen. This also cuts down on the physical strain of carrying heavy bags, making everyday cleaning tasks much easier. One of the most effective ways to maintain a clean home with minimal effort is by sticking to a consistent cleaning routine. Many seniors struggle with cleaning because they wait too long to tackle a mess, allowing dirt and clutter to pile up. Instead of waiting for the mess to get overwhelming, spend just 10 to 15 minutes a day on one small task. It's about consistency, not perfection. Real-life example. Charles, a 73-year-old retiree, used to let chores build up until the weekend, when he would spend hours cleaning. But after switching to a daily routine, he found that his home stayed tidy without the stress. On Monday, he dusts the living room. Tuesday, he wipes down the kitchen counters. Wednesday, he changes the bed sheets. By the end of the week, his house is clean, and he hasn't had to spend hours scrubbing. Why it works. Consistency is key. By committing to small daily tasks, you prevent the mess from getting out of control. It's a simple habit that keeps your home tidy without draining your energy. A consistent routine means you're always on top of things, and cleaning doesn't become an overwhelming, exhausting marathon.